Continuing, just to finish that thought, that you might be insulated. You might be in your little cocoon, your little pod of financial freedom and financial security. But as a friend to you, I would tell you this, that you're getting your share of suffering through osmosis because you have what's called a conscience. And it's a fail-safe. It's a default. Whether you like it or not, the sooner you face that reality, the better off you'll be. The more assured that you'll be found deserving and worthy to go to a better world where nobody has to be sucking lemons. Okay, nobody's living in fear of dying out in the cold. Okay, because that's the world we have now. It's a real crap hole of a world. That's why Jesus said you must hate your life in this world to have eternal life. You got to get it. You got to get it. You got to turn it over to God. You got to turn the things you love over to God. You love your financial freedom. You love your financial security. You got to talk it over with God and ask him his opinion on how you should feel about the wanton, unnecessary, inflicted, invented suffering, financial suffering upon other people that don't deserve it. We need to talk about that. Okay? We need to have the conversation about that. You know, how is it unreasonable, for example, for the Labor Department to not give cost of living adjustments when they know the market's been manipulated every year without fail, so it's not traumatic? And then when employers say, what the hell, these greedy minimum wage workers, they keep raising the legal, I can't pay them less. By law, I got to pay them this wage. Okay, they don't like it. They want to lash out and blame the Labor Department and blame the employer, the employees, and say, well, you're just being greedy. You're uppity. I mean, what do you need this cost of living adjustment? And say, oh, okay, this is a great opportunity to point to the causers. Okay, who caused it? Who started that big bonfire that's causing all the spot fires? That's where you point the finger. We expose them as the root cause. Do you understand? And everything else is just a chain reaction in society. Everybody's got to raise the price for the services they offer or the commodities they offer just to pay their necessary cost of living, those essential human needs. Okay, whatever commodities, services, or combination thereof that people offer, they have to raise the price just to stay balanced. That's it. No progress. Remember, no progress. We're not getting more free. We just started the game at this point right here, let's say 1962, before JFK was murdered. And now we're just looking at just keeping what we had there, where you could buy a house anywhere in the country on a minimum wage job. Your wife could stay home, take care of the whole family. I know this because I saw my own family. My dad lived on a meager VA pension from the Marine Corps, a disability pension. Okay, and we were able to purchase a home. Do you understand? In Santa Cruz, on the beautiful Monterey Bay, Santa Cruz, California, for $8,000, an arm's length transaction. That means it wasn't a foreclosure, it wasn't a short sale or anything like that. It was just an up and up sale just in suburban Santa Cruz. Do you understand? $8,000. So I know my dad's income was definitely no more than minimum wage probably, which would have been $200 a month gross approximately. Okay, so $200 a month gross, you could support the entire family comfortably, pay your auto expenses and put gas in your car and have some disposable income for going out to the movies or dinner or something like that once in a while. A meager, allowance for the kids, pay your utilities, pay your mortgage. Do you understand? That's a fact. I know that. So how many of these young people that, Alex Jones has reporters work for understand where I'm coming from? I've had to watch this thing unfold for a long time. This is Zimbabwe in slow motion, this crony capitalism. And people like Alex Jones are very erroneously calling this capitalism. And I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear that crap anymore. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Have they read Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations? What the hell do they know about this stuff? What do they know about Austrian economics, supply and demand? What do they know about Milton Friedman? What do they know about John Keynes? The velocity of currency idea. Like I've talked about this bowl of money in town. Whatever it is to mitigate the problems, we should do, okay? We've got to mitigate the problems. I'm against Zimbabwe in slow motion. I'm for prosperity in slow motion. And how do you get that? The opposite of Zimbabwe. See, the opposite of currency debasement, okay, is raising the worth of your currency through cost of living reduction, which happens automatically, naturally, organically, when it's not interfered with by the government. Okay? That's what happens automatically with true capitalism, supply and demand capitalism. It's not forced. It's when you stop, don't let the government meddle. Don't protect people that are acting foolishly. This lending business, this is something that we should get away from. We've got to learn that we can save enough money to go out and pay cash for a house. This is the reality we need to get back to. We shouldn't have to be going in debt. What are these people? What did they do for the house? Yet they're taking, if you get on a loan, you pay 2.5 times over for the house from the original selling price. You pay to the lender who's just sitting there. Let's all be lenders. What the hell? Let's all get a lending license. What the hell? You understand how stupid all this game is that we've all bought into and we're calling capitalism? It's a charade. It's a scam. Shenanigans. It's nonsense. It's a method to steal your wealth. Understand that. And then we know the Cloward and Piven strategy. We know they're trying to bring in more poverty and austerity, planned austerity. I mean, Alex Jones seems real schizophrenic on this because he admits this. He knows all this, that they want us poor, but he's trying to attribute all the advances in the industrial age to capitalism. I say, no. Let's talk about labor. Okay, let's talk about what was absolutely necessary. Okay, the resources are there. The wealth, the capital exists. God gave us the capital. God put the capital in the earth, in the resources. And the resources rightfully belong to all of us. Okay? That's not a communist philosophy. That's a biblical philosophy. That's a Christian philosophy. That's an American philosophy. Okay, that's all that is. That's a good philosophy. That's what you want, man. Freedom isn't freedom till you give it away. It's just like any good thing. Like they say about love. I mean, if you want to be loved, then you've got to be loving. If you want to be free, then you've got to be freeing. All those things you want for yourself, you've got to be willing to offer to others. So that's what I tell people. If you can't just get in your own little pod and say, my numbers look good, you've got to work for the system. I mean, it's just like I talk about, I go out there and I say, I'll put my nose to the grindstone. I'm going to just do whatever it takes, get cutthroat, make $100 billion, and just give it all to the poor, give it all to charities. It won't work. It'll be a drop in the bucket, and we'll be back to, ground zero in no time flat, because that's the system. So the system fundamentally needs to be changed. It needs to get on a different track. It's like a train going down the track, and it doesn't want to stop. It's got this evil trajectory into death and destruction. And so many people that are supporting the train going that direction, they're the ones that are okay. They're the ones that say, don't rock the boat too much. I'm doing pretty good here. My numbers look good. So you understand what I'm saying? So they're very influential. They get into politics, and they get in, they're the ones we see in the media all the time. Okay, they're the ones they get the opinions from, all these successful people with all the accolades and all this crap. When a lot of them are just point blank evil. I mean, that's what we're up against here. The evil genius is palpable. They're profoundly evil. I don't know how to put it. They're devilish, diabolical. It's like a religion of these people. And you say, you're being overly cynical. These people don't want us all dead. They don't want everybody poor. They're just incompetent, I guess, or they want austerity so that you stop burning CO2. I mean, come on. There's some benevolent, altruistic reason behind it. It all makes sense somehow. They're not that bad. And I think, oh my God, I mean, look, folks, we've been duped to the nth degree. Up one side, down the other, okay? That's it. That's all I got to say. Just by prescribing to this scene, man. We've all bought into it to some degree, and I'm ashamed. God knows I am. And I tell you what, man, when I think of the people dying out in the cold out there, Native American sons and daughters, and then I got to hear these people come off all sanctimonious about me saying, hey, we deserve to vet the people that come into our country. We need legal immigration, not illegal. We don't want this happening. We have a right to have controls over who's living in our country. I mean, that's we the people. Okay, that's a decision we make, and we have laws and rules about this stuff that need to be followed to protect those that immigrate here legally. It's just the right thing to do, for crying out loud. And we've got to put some heat under the butts of the people that whatever nation we see excessive immigration from, we got to put heat on. Do you hear the mainstream media? Not a whisper. Radio silence about these rulers. And say, what are you doing for your own people? And then we realize, oh, the Chamber of Communists involved, and the farmers are crying because they can't get this, these exploited workers to work for under minimum wage because they're illegal and they're scared and, have all these perks. And you understand the head count. That's what they're after. It's putting an artificial demand on things. I hear Alex Jones talk about just trying to drive down wages. Dude, we didn't need any help with that. These people were very successful with driving down our wages. What are you talking about? Through the cost of living, through the Labor Department being profoundly and utterly remiss with giving cost of living adjustments when it was deemed righteous to do. It was just the right thing to do, just so people stayed balanced and they weren't going down. Or did they do that? No. So now it's a big deal. 15 an hour, when really the math has been done. On average, it'd be like over $40 an hour to be equivalent to $1.50 an hour in 1962 in terms of buying power of minimum wage. So, I mean, are we going to do it by raising minimum wage, by raising wages? That can't be. No, what these people are after is a head count, an artificial demand on the essential human needs. It raises prices. Do you understand? It's a market manipulation. It's a way to raise our cost of living tax. That's what the immigration, migration, refugee thing is all about. It's a chamber of communists behind that. Alex Jones to play obtuse and stupid about this, I don't get it. Okay? It's not the case. It's not just about driving down wages. People, what do you think? People don't work for cheap wages? When I was 15, I worked on a dairy farm for $1 an hour. Hell, in the 70s, when I was 15 years old, I worked at an industrial laundromat for about $1.65 an hour maybe, and that was a union. Okay? So, come on, man. Come on. Okay? It's not about Americans not being willing to work for cheap wages. That's not it at all. That's a bunch of bull. It's manufactured. Jeez. You know, unskilled labor versus skilled labor. Look, I don't give a crap. That's elitist. If you're on that trip, man, you're an elitist and you're on the highway to hell. So as a friend, I'm going to warn you to repent or perish. Okay, you won't be found worthy and deserving of going to a world where we're all set free. Everybody, nobody has to be enchained. And the system will work fine. We'll all serve each other fine in that world. If you can't believe that, if you can't take that leap of faith, which is based on intellect and logic, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to reach people and get them to understand the gravity of this, you know, this information I'm putting out there. You've got to be willing to understand basic economic stuff and understand how you're being tyrannized, how we've been duped, and what this thing is all about. Okay, but the idea that we're going to get wages up to where they were back in 1962 relative to the buying power, there's no way in hell. That's why I say the only hope is a reduction in the cost of living. That's the only hope. Housing prices have to go down. Rents have to go down. More and more people have to be able to enter the middle class home ownership category. And that we're going the opposite way. I'm telling you. California is way ahead of the curve, and I wish the rest of the nation would understand what's coming. As goes California, so goes the rest of the nation. And as goes the rest of the nation, so goes the rest of the world. Is that what you just want, this exorbitant tax on the cost of living to just go up and up and up because somehow you think you're insulated? You invested wisely, and you're smart, and you're aggressive, and you worked hard, and your numbers look good, so it's right that you be insulated with your financial security and your financial freedom, and that you divorce yourself from the whole system of going awry, this crony capitalism, bringing in fascism and inducing communism and all this crap. Okay? I'm telling you, you're not insulated. Okay? You will get your fair share through osmosis. Okay, because people are sucking lemons around you. They're miserable. They're stressed out. How can they not be? Do you understand how bad this feels? We're not stupid creatures. We know. We know when our cost of living is going up. We know when the burden keeps getting higher and higher, and the chain of humanity keeps snapping more and more as the weak links break, and people are living homeless and dying out in the cold. And then Owen Schroyer are getting on the case of Seattle, Washington, saying it's not illegal to live in your car anymore. They're desperate. People are trying to survive. How can it be illegal to survive? What are you trying to tell people? They don't have a right to be on the planet? You're telling them Native Americans that were born here even, they don't have a right to exist? What are they supposed to do? Okay, I mean, if for crying out loud, it's absurdist. Owen Schroyer, reporter for Alex Jones. But, man, we're in it deep, and people got to understand this train still wants to chug down the highway, and it's got inertia at the same time. It doesn't want to budge like a big, fat, slobby monster. It doesn't want to budge. It just wants to chug down the track with the momentum it's got on this trajectory toward death and destruction, careening to hell. It's a pyramid scheme. It can't succeed. How the hell can it succeed? To what avail? To what end?